You've probably heard of LDL and HDL. They're usually simplified into bad and good cholesterol. And while that shorthand can be helpful, it can also be misleading. The real story is a bit more nuanced and it matters deeply, especially after the age of 60, when your cardiovascular risk begins to rise more sharply. Let's start with LDL, low-density lipoprotein. This form of cholesterol acts like a delivery truck. It transports cholesterol from your liver to tissues around your body. That's important. But when you have too much LDL, especially in its small, dense form, it can start to deposit in the walls of your arteries. Over time, these deposits form plaques, sticky, inflamed buildups that narrow your blood vessels. This is how atherosclerosis begins, and it's the foundation for heart attacks and strokes. HDL, on the other hand, is more like the cleanup crew. High-density lipoprotein moves through your bloodstream and scoops up excess cholesterol, taking it back to the liver for processing and elimination. That's why HDL is protective. It's not just about the number, it's about the function. HDL acts as an internal detox mechanism for your arteries. Now, here's the critical insight. It's not about eliminating LDL entirely. That would be both dangerous and impossible. It's about balance. It's about how well your HDL can counterbalance the effects of LDL, and that balance gets thrown off easily with age, inactivity, poor diet, chronic stress, and metabolic conditions like diabetes. After 60, your body becomes more sensitive to inflammation, oxidative stress, and blood sugar fluctuations, all of which can damage the blood vessels and make LDL more dangerous. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. If the inside lining gets scratched or irritated by smoking, sugar, or stress, LDL particles are more likely to stick, oxidize, and form those harmful plaques. This is why simply lowering your total cholesterol doesn't tell the full story. You can have a normal cholesterol level and still be at high risk if your LDL is oxidized or your HDL is too low to counteract it. That's what we call residual risk, the risk that remains even when the headline numbers look okay. The deeper truth here is that our health isn't just a numbers game, it's a systems game. Everything is connected. Your liver produces cholesterol, your intestines absorb it, your cells use it, and your lifestyle influences it. So if you want to truly protect your heart and your life after 60, you have to think beyond good and bad and understand the dance between LDL and HDL as a dynamic process, one that can be influenced profoundly by your choices. Let's take a real-world example. Two individuals have the same total cholesterol, say 200 milligrams per HDL, but one has high HDL and low LDL, and the other has the reverse. Their risks are drastically different. The first person may have healthy arteries, low inflammation, and great resilience. The second may be a walking time bomb, even though their doctor said their cholesterol is fine. This is where you step in as the leader of your own health. Ask better questions, get advanced lipid testing if you need it. Look at your triglyceride to HDL ratio. Ask your doctor about particle size and inflammatory markers. You deserve more than surface level numbers. You deserve clarity. Now, I want to shift the lens for a moment to a more philosophical perspective, because this isn't just about science, it's about mindset. As we age, many of us feel our agency slipping away. We surrender to the idea that aging means decline, that our health is out of our hands, that disease is inevitable. But I'm here to tell you that is a lie we must stop believing. Understanding your cholesterol isn't just about preventing a heart attack. It's about reclaiming ownership of your health story. It's about living with energy, confidence, and clarity well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. When you respect how your body functions, when you learn its language, you gain leverage. And with that leverage comes freedom. So here's what I want you to take from this. Cholesterol is not your enemy. Ignorance is. Oversimplification is. Apathy is. Your body is wise and your biology is not fixed. You have the power to influence your internal chemistry through knowledge, movement, nutrition, and belief. In a world that profits from confusion, be the one who seeks understanding. In a world full of shortcuts, be the one who builds real resilience, because your heart, the literal and metaphorical one, deserves nothing less. Let this be your reminder. Balance, not fear, is the path to strength. And the more you understand what's happening beneath the surface, the more power you have to shape your future. Many people are walking around with high triglycerides and don't even realize it because the symptoms aren't dramatic or obvious. You don't feel a stabbing pain, you don't collapse. But inside, your blood vessels are being quietly damaged. Triglycerides contribute to inflammation and oxidative stress, which are like rust and friction inside your arteries. Over time, this contributes to hardening of the arteries, atherosclerosis, the very same condition that leads to heart attacks and strokes. Now, this is where the story deepens, because high triglycerides rarely exist in isolation. They're usually part of a bigger picture, a pattern that we call metabolic syndrome. This includes high blood pressure, abdominal obesity, insulin resistance, and low HDL. In other words, high triglycerides are a clue. They're your body's way of waving a red flag and saying, pay attention, something bigger is going on here. Let's break it down simply. When you eat too many refined carbohydrates, white bread, sugary drinks, processed snacks, your insulin levels rise to manage the flood of glucose in your bloodstream. But over time, if this becomes a habit, your cells stop responding to insulin properly. Your pancreas works harder, your blood sugar creeps up, and your liver, trying to manage the overload, starts converting the excess sugar into triglycerides. This isn't a momentary glitch. This is a metabolic alarm bell. And here's the tragic irony. Many people trying to lower their cholesterol unknowingly make their triglycerides worse. They cut out fats, but keep eating sugar and white carbs, thinking that low fat automatically means heart healthy. But biochemistry doesn't work that way. It's not about fat alone. It's about how your body processes energy. What matters more is the type of fat, the quality of carbohydrates, and how your body is handling them behind the scenes. Philosophically, this speaks to something even deeper. Our culture often rewards appearance over substance. We're told to focus on weight, not metabolic health. We judge success by the number on the scale or the total cholesterol level, not realizing that what's invisible, the subtle buildup, the internal chemistry, the long-term damage, is often what matters most. This is why understanding triglycerides is so vital after the age of 60. As we age, our bodies naturally become more insulin resistant. Our muscle mass decreases, our metabolism slows, and we become more vulnerable to the effects of poor diet and inactivity. High triglycerides in your 40s or 50s may not have caused symptoms, but in your 60s, they can become a tipping point. The good news is that this is completely reversible. That's right, completely. Unlike some genetic conditions that are difficult to change, triglycerides respond dramatically to lifestyle shifts. Reduce your intake of added sugars and refined carbs. Increase your intake of fiber-rich vegetables, omega-3 fats from fish or flax seeds, and stay physically active. These aren't abstract recommendations. They are biological tools that recalibrate your metabolism from the inside out. Even small steps can yield big changes. Studies show that losing just 5 to 10% of your body weight can significantly lower triglycerides. A brisk walk every day improves insulin sensitivity. Swapping soda for water lowers sugar load instantly. This is about reclaiming power, not just over your numbers, but over your energy, your longevity, and your vitality. I often say this to my patients. Your lab results are not your destiny. They are your feedback. They're not there to shame you. They're there to guide you. When your triglycerides are high, your body's not betraying you. It's speaking to you. It's asking you to tune in, to slow down, and to make different choices. Let's not wait till we have a cardiac event to begin paying attention. Let's not normalize fatigue, brain fog, or stubborn belly fat as just part of getting older. Those are often early metabolic clues. And when we understand the language of the body, we stop reacting out of fear and start acting out of wisdom. In the end, managing triglycerides isn't just about protecting your arteries. It's about honoring your body's design. It's about living in alignment with the biology you were gifted. And most importantly, it's about choosing vitality over passivity, because health is not the absence of illness. It's the presence of energy, clarity, and purpose. So here's the takeaway. Triglycerides are not just numbers on a chart. They are reflections of how your body is handling life. Listen to them, respect them, and act on what they reveal, because the future of your heart, of your life, depends not just on what you know, but on what you do with that knowledge. LDL, often labeled the bad cholesterol, plays a role in delivering cholesterol to cells. But here's the nuance. Your body actually needs LDL. Cholesterol is vital for building cell membranes, producing hormones like estrogen and testosterone, and forming vitamin D. The problem arises when LDL becomes oxidized, small, and dense. This is when it's more likely to get trapped in the lining of your arteries and form plaques. These aren't just passive deposits, they're biologically active, triggering inflammation and narrowing the blood vessels. On the other hand, HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, acts as a cleanup crew. It helps remove excess cholesterol from the bloodstream and transports it back to the liver for processing and elimination. Think of HDL as a janitor that sweeps up the mess that LDL leaves behind. So the true health marker isn't just a high or low LDL, but how much HDL you have to balance it and how functional that HDL is. There's a profound metaphor here. In life, just as in the body, balance is more important than extremes. We need builders and we need cleaners. We need forces that deliver energy and those that clean up the residue. Health comes from the harmony between these forces, not from labeling one good and the other bad, but from understanding their purpose and keeping them in proportion. Now, many people focus solely on lowering LDL, often through medications like statins. And while there's a place for those, especially in high-risk individuals, we can't ignore the power of lifestyle. Your food choices, physical activity, and even your stress levels can directly affect this cholesterol balance. Diets high in trans fats and refined sugars increase small, dense LDL particles and reduce HDL. Conversely, regular exercise and healthy fats from sources like olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish raise HDL and improve LDL particle size, making it less harmful. Here's something I often remind people of. Every time you eat, you're either feeding inflammation or fighting it. The cholesterol numbers on your blood test reflect not just your genetics, but your habits, what you put on your plate, how you move your body, how you manage stress, how much you sleep. That's powerful because it means you're not a passive victim of cholesterol. You're an active participant in shaping its impact. Let's also talk about the concept of particle number. Traditional cholesterol tests show you the total LDL and HDL, but they don't always reveal the full picture. Two people can have the same LDL level, but one may have many small, dense particles, more dangerous, while the other has fewer, large, buoyant ones. That's why advanced testing, when accessible, can give more insight into your true risk. It's like judging a traffic jam, not just by how many cars are on the road, but by how fast they're moving and whether any are stalled. Are they causing congestion or just passing through? There's also a psychological component to this discussion. We live in a world obsessed with fast results, with shortcuts and silver bullets. But the truth is, the state of your cholesterol isn't just a medical fact. It's a reflection of your long-term lifestyle patterns. It's shaped by cumulative choices. The late night snacks, the skipped workouts, the unmanaged stress, they all show up eventually. And often they show up in your lipid profile. But that's not meant to guilt you. It's meant to empower you, because just as the problem is cumulative, so is the solution. Every healthy choice tips the scale back toward balance. And here's the deeper wisdom. Our bodies are always working toward healing. The liver never stops adjusting. The arteries don't just harden overnight. HDL is constantly searching for excess cholesterol to remove. You are never too old to influence this process. Even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, small changes can make a measurable difference. So if there's one idea I hope you walk away with, it's this. Cholesterol is not your enemy. It's a messenger. And when we learn to interpret the message, not just suppress it, we take real control over our health, focus not just on the numbers, but on the balance between them. Build habits that strengthen the body's natural ability to regulate itself. Because health isn't about elimination, it's about harmony. Let that be your guiding principle. Aim for balance, not perfection. Because in the rhythm of your biology and in the rhythm of life, it's balance that keeps the heart beating strong. Triglycerides are a type of fat or lipid that your body uses for energy. When you eat more calories than you need, especially calories from carbohydrates and sugars, your liver converts the excess into triglycerides. These are then stored in fat cells or circulate in the blood, waiting to be used as fuel. That sounds pretty efficient, right? The problem arises when those levels stay elevated consistently. High triglycerides are not just a benign side effect of overeating. They are a red flag, signaling metabolic imbalance, insulin resistance, and increased cardiovascular risk. And here's the key psychological twist. Triglycerides are a mirror of your recent habits. Unlike cholesterol levels, which are influenced by genetics and can take longer to change, triglycerides respond much faster to diet and lifestyle. Eat a sugar-heavy meal today, and your triglycerides might spike tomorrow. That immediacy is important because it means your triglyceride levels are one of the clearest reflections of how you've been living, not just this year, but this week. This makes them emotionally powerful markers. When patients see high triglycerides on their labs, they're not just seeing numbers, they're seeing a consequence. It's a biochemical confession of sorts, revealing what your meals have looked like, how sedentary you've been, how much stress you're carrying. But unlike guilt or shame, which paralyze us, awareness should empower us. Because here's the truth. Triglycerides are among the most reversible risk factors in cardiovascular health. Simple changes can lower them dramatically. Reducing sugar and refined carbohydrates, increasing fiber, moving your body more regularly, these don't just make you feel better, they visibly change your lab values in weeks. In a way, triglycerides offer one of the most hopeful messages in medicine that your body is still listening, that it still wants to heal, that it's not too late. Now, from a biological standpoint, high triglycerides do something else. They often travel alongside low HDL levels and small, dense LDL particles. This trio is a dangerous one. It's associated with a condition called atherogenic dyslipidemia, which is a major driver of plaque buildup in arteries. You can think of triglyceride-rich particles as sticky. They linger in the bloodstream, increasing the chance that cholesterol will deposit into the arterial walls. Over time, this contributes to inflammation, thickening, and narrowing of those vessels, quietly, silently, without obvious symptoms until something serious happens, like a heart attack or stroke. But again, this process is not inevitable. The body is dynamic, constantly responding to the messages we send it, and every meal is a message. Every walk, every night of quality sleep, every decision to put the phone down and manage stress instead of ignoring it. These things signal the body to shift toward repair rather than damage. When we become conscious of this cause and effect relationship, we stop seeing our health as something mysterious or out of our control. We begin to take ownership, and that ownership is freedom. I want to emphasize something else that's often overlooked. Triglycerides also affect how we feel. Elevated levels have been linked to insulin resistance and blood sugar swings, which can lead to energy crashes, brain fog, and mood instability. So if you've been feeling tired after meals, struggling with focus, or experiencing anxiety you can't explain, look at what's happening beneath the surface. These aren't just emotional issues. They're often metabolic ones. When we align our physical health with our emotional well-being, we start to thrive on every level. One of the most profound shifts we can make is to stop chasing perfection and start practicing consistency. You don't need to become a different person overnight, but you do need to become more aware. A little less sugar, a few more minutes walking, slightly more fiber, a handful of omega-3 rich walnuts or flax seeds. Over time, those small decisions add up. Your triglycerides drop, your energy lifts, and your risk of disease decreases dramatically. The beauty of this journey is that your body will meet you halfway. It's resilient, it's responsive, it's forgiving. But it's also honest. It will always reflect how you're living. So let it be your partner, not your opponent. Listen to it, work with it, and trust that your choices today are shaping your health tomorrow. In the end, managing your triglycerides isn't just about numbers. It's about clarity, empowerment, and reclaiming responsibility for your future. Because every heartbeat matters and every moment is a chance to choose life.